Alright, here we are at Chapter 6, Quiz 2. Here are your answers. Solve the system by graphing. Now this first one, remember the objective here is always to get these guys in the slope-intercept form. They'll make it the easiest way to graph. And remember, since I'm picking between 4 graphs, I just have to get the one that makes the most sense for where my answer should be. So it's really a matter of getting the right intercepts and the right basic slope. Am I going up or down for each of those lines? So for this first one, get the y by itself. So 3x plus 4y is equal to negative 36. Subtract it, so 4y is negative 3x minus 36, and then divide by 4. Y is equal to a negative 3/4 x minus 9. So the first line is going to have an intercept of a negative 9 and a negative 3/4 slope. Now what's nice, this down here for B is the only one where one of the two lines has that slope, that intercept of negative 9 from up here, and a slope of a negative 3/4. It's the only one that does it. Now if I keep going, let's take the second guy and go ahead and solve it. So negative 2x plus 4y is equal to negative 16. Add the 2x. 4y is equal to 2x minus 16. Divide by 4. Y is a half x minus 4. So again, when I go to graph it, this graph down here, here's my intercept of 4 and a slope of a half. So this must be the one graph that shows those two lines that therefore intersect there. My answer is B. And you could do this a couple of different ways, but when it says solve by graphing, the objective is to draw the two graphs and see where the lines intersect. Number 2, tell whether the ordered pair is a solution to the system. So what you're going to do is plug those guys in. So for the first equation, negative 3 times 5 plus 2 times negative 3, does that equal a negative 21? Negative 15 plus negative 6 is negative 21. That checks out. Let's check the other one. Negative 5 minus a negative 3, does that equal a negative 2? Is negative 5 plus 3, that's a negative 2. That checks out. Your answer is yes. Solve by using substitution. Now this one's already set as a key, so when I substitute in, I'm going to be doing 3x plus, and then what I plugged in, x plus 5 equals negative 3. Clean that mess up. I get 4x plus 5 is equal to a negative 3. Subtract it. 4x is equal to negative 8. Divide it. X is negative 2. Now, as several students pointed out, once I know what x is, since it's a multiple choice test, the only answer that makes sense is D. But before we go too much further, let's verify that that is the answer by plugging this back in and see what we get for y. Negative 2 plus 5, that's replacing the x with negative 2. That does indeed yield an ordered pair of negative 2, comma 3. For our next problem, I'll use a separate piece of paper to illustrate it. So there's a little more room to play with. Number 4. It says solve by elimination. 3x minus 6y is equal to 12. 2x plus 6y is equal to negative 12. When I combine these down, I get 5x is equal to 0. Divide both sides by 5, I get x is also equal to 0. Plugging that back in, 3 times 0 minus 6y is equal to 12. So that's 0 minus 6y is equal to 12. Divide both sides by negative 6. Y is negative 2. My answer, 0, negative 2. And again, being a multiple choice test, there's a little bit of room to kind of say, well, that has to be my answer because I knew x was 0 and it's the only one of the 4 that meets that. Number 5. Again, solve by using elimination. Now the challenge with this one is that they're not set up for elimination off the go. I have to do something to get that. So 3x minus 2y is equal to 15. X minus 2y is equal to 5. Now I'm going to take the bottom equation and multiply by a negative 1. So 3x minus 2y is equal to 15. That doesn't change. Times negative 1. So negative x plus 2y is a negative 5. Add them together. I now have 2x is equal to 10. The y's drop out. Divide both sides by 2. Y is equal to 5. Now to figure out what x is, I plug it back in. Let's use this one. So x minus 2 times 5 is equal to 5. So that's x minus 10 is equal to 5. Add 10 to both sides. And I have x equals 15. Okay. Okay, bottom equation times negative 4. That cut the problem down right? Yes. Oh, there's my mistake. Sloppy penmanship. X is 5. Whew, I'm glad I caught that. It's like, I know I'm doing something wrong. Yeah, when you do 3x minus x, you don't get 2y, you get 2x. So x is equal to 5. Now I can go ahead and say plug that back in. So 5 minus 2y is equal to 5. I plugged it in for x. Yep. Subtract 5 from both sides. I get negative 2y is 0, or y is 0. My answer, 5 comma 0. That then goes in. Now notice this one was listed twice, so either A or D would get you credit. Tell whether 5, 6 is a solution of this inequality. All we do is drop it in. Is 6 less than 5 times 5 plus 8? Is that a true statement? Is 6 less than 25 plus 8? Is 6 less than 33? Yes, it is. Graph the solutions to the linear inequality. Now remember, that means I have to graph the area. I have to draw the line and then shade it in. So as I approach this, I'm going to have to rewrite this in y equals mx plus b form. So this is going to be, let's see, subtract the 6x from both sides. So 3y less than equal to negative 6x minus 6. And divide everybody by 3. Y is less than or equal to negative 2/3 x minus 2. Here's negative 2, my intercept. My slope is negative 2/3, so I go down 2 over 3. Down 2 over 3. It's equal to, so I'm going to draw a solid line. And then I have to shade one side or the other. So let's test 0, 0. I put 0 in. 0 times 6 plus 3 times 0 less than equal to negative 6. 0 less than equal to negative 6. Is that true? Don't think so. Don't think 0 is less than a negative. So with that being the case, 0, 0 must not be a solution. Since 0 is not a solution, this is the side that gets shaded. We had a story problem. The common mistake on this one is to think that the two variables are the individual kennels. Remember, the kennels represent the two equations. The variables that we're comparing are the days and the cost. So for the first kennel, it's going to be the cost is $15 times days plus 20. For the second kennel, the cost is 12 times D plus 35. That would be my two equations. Now the 15 is because that's my per day plus a flat rate of 20. The second equation has a rate of 12. That's my per day plus my fee. That's the model we've been talking about. Number 9, solve by substitution. Express your answer as an ordered pair. Now, same idea. I already have my key, so let's plug her in. 2x plus y, which was x plus 4, equals negative 5. Combine my like terms. 3x plus 4 equals negative 5. Subtract the 4. 3x is negative 9. Divide. X is negative 3. Y is therefore negative 3 plus 4, or 1. My final answer is negative 3 comma 1. 10. Solve using elimination. Let's see. I'm going to prep this by taking the bottom equation and multiplying by negative 1. So negative x plus 2y equals negative 4. Multiply this bottom by a negative gives me positive 3x minus 2y is equal to 12. Add them up. Make sure I changed all my signs correctly. Good. Add them up. I get 2x over here. I get 8 over here. Divide by 2. X is 4. Plug her back in. Negative 4 plus 2y is negative 4. Add 4 to both sides. 2y is therefore equal to 0. And therefore y is also 0. 4 comma 0 would be my final answer. I'm pretty sure I have that right. Let me do a quick double check before I walk away from the computer. Combined it down. Cancels, cancels, divides, 4. I plug the 4 in here. It's a negative. And just for sake, let's always check the other one too. That's going to be a negative 12. That has to be 0 to make it match. All right, there's your second quiz. There are your answer, guys. Have a good weekend. Study up. We'll pick up with our last new topic of the chapter on Monday.